Hey y'all, it's currently January the 23rd, 2018. Write down the date. I got a story to tell y'all. I figured I'd go ahead and tell y'all because I was alluding to it earlier, and it's actually kind of interesting. Y'all, really, I want to share with y'all. I pretty much almost died, basically. I came very close to dying, an excruciating death. Believe it or not, I mean, you came very close to just like not hearing from this guy ever again, like for serious, right? So, anyways, I thought I would tell you about it, but I actually want to tell you about something that's even more interesting than that. But suffice it to say, I went to lunch earlier, and I hadn't prepared. It's my first day back to work and stuff, and I had a good time. But I didn't come prepared with lunch and everything, which I usually do. So, during lunch, I was like, dude, I'm gonna break out and go grab something real quick, bring it back and eat it. And they were like, yeah, that's cool and stuff. And so I ran out there, and I was going to run down the highway. That's I-20. All right, a straight shot to like town and see what, get something real quick. All right, traffic was all messed up because they're doing construction on I-20. They're building these overpasses and they're just doing a lot of construction on I-20. It's a very, very busy, important road. And so, anyways, all sort of traffic. I realized, damn, dude, this traffic fucked up my whole lunch, right? So I can't even go to lunch. I need to basically turn around as soon as possible. I'm in standstill traffic for many minutes. I need to turn around as soon as possible and just go back to work because I'm about to be late. So I wound up doing that, and it took many minutes. So I wound up turning back around on I-20. All right. So this is to set up the situation. I'm getting onto I-20. All right. And going back towards work. I'm getting on I-20 and I'm going down I-20 and I'm kind of, to be honest, and I know that nobody would really get angry at me. I know this if I'm a little bit late and stuff like that, but I always get kind of anxious. If ever I know that I'm late, that's why I like leaving early because I get very anxious if I'm late. And so I kind of speed. I'm speeding a little bit. I mean, usually I don't, but I'm speeding down the highway, I-20, um, and I'm really hightailing it. It's just a short, distance, maybe a few miles. But I'm anxious to get back. All right, so I'm going along. I'm going along. I actually get off of I-20. Um, Onto the access road. I safely get it off the I-20 and I go on the access road. And if you're familiar with these kind of access roads, I-20, what it will have is two-way access roads on both sides. So they go both directions. And, obviously, if you're coming out the highway, people on both sides going both directions, they're gonna have to yield to you. You know what I'm saying? And just for safety, because you're going too fast. You're coming off the highway, right? So we're on one of these access roads, and I'm hurrying along. I'm hurrying along, and going back to my work, and I'm on the opposite side of the road, so to speak. Like the highway it's coming directly at me, the traffic. All right. Well, I'm on the access road and I'm going back to work. So I'm just driving down this access road, pretty much speeding, going faster than I should have, driving down this access road. And meanwhile, to my right, on the highway, you got the cars speeding along, going just about as fast as they can because they're tired of the traffic. All right. Gosh dang it. All right, interrupted. Anyways, I'm speeding along on the access road, and then I see this. Now, the story I'm about to tell you, it takes place in the span of about 2 seconds, and I'm not even. That's it. I'm pretty sure about 2 seconds. The whole entire story. So I'm going down this access road, and as I'm doing it, I'm going a little bit too fast down this access road. I notice an 18-wheeler, a big old sumbitch, coming off the highway, and I noticed it a little bit too late. All right. So As I'm supposed to yield, we're headed face to face. We're headed right for each other. As I'm supposed to yield, I realize I'm going too fast. I'm not going to be able, like, I want to break this down because at that instant, when I realized this 18 wheeler is coming off the highway and I'm headed straight for it, all right, I realized this car ain't going to stop. Mathematically, the thing is, I felt it in my brain how people say it. Time did slow down. Time started going in slow motion. In my brain pops up, there ain't no way that this car is going to stop in time. Right? And also, there ain't absolutely no way that this 18 wheeler is going to stop in time. I knew this. Ain't no way. So that just triggered in my brain. I didn't even think about it. Thoughts were just flying through my brain. I thought, okay, there's no way that either one of us is going to stop in this situation. We're headed right for each other, basically. All right. So here's the idea that popped up in my brain. I'm not going to be able to stop, period. So I'm going to lean over to the right, to my right, and I'm going to go behind him. I see how fast he's going as an 18-wheeler. I know he ain't going to stop, period. So I'm thinking, there ain't no way I'm beating this guy. Ain't no way he's going to smash me to smithereens. Ain't no way I'm beating this guy. So instead, I'm going to lean to the right. And I'm going to slow down. I'm not going to jam on my brakes, but I'm going to slow down. And I'm thinking this like just in nanoseconds. I said, I'm going to slow down, veer to the right. He's going to be going so fast that he passes me up and I'll just barely dodge him. All right. I had that brilliant idea without even thinking about it. I thought it. All right. And I was about to do it very successfully, mind you. And I was about to feel like a genius for doing that, like in a split second, just thinking that up the way that I did and calmly doing it. Honestly, it's like, dude, I didn't hardly flinch. And I'm not saying that to say, oh man, I sound like brave or something like that. There's a lot of times when I'm very nervous about things. I've become very anxious about things. In this 2 seconds, I felt myself not even flinch. I was just like, there ain't no way we're stopping. Let me turn to the right and miss this guy. Like, as he barrels past me. All right. But that's not where the story stops, because this guy in the 18-wheeler, he actually jams on his freaking brakes, which is, in a sense, is preposterous. I got to explain. If you know anything about 18-wheelers, you know you're not stopping. So there's no point in jamming on the brakes. But that's what he does. All right. So the timing, all the calculations I made in my head, that becomes kind of irrelevant because he's now jamming on his brakes and slowing himself down. As I was trying to dodge him and just miss him, no, now he's jamming his brakes. And I see that. I see this guy. I'm like, oh my God, he's jamming his brakes now. So he's slowing himself down, which doesn't make sense because there's no way he's stopping anyways. He jams on his brakes, and not only does it make it harder for me to dodge him now, as I'm now on the shoulder of the road. Not only does that make it harder, but as you know with 18-wheelers, when they jam on their brakes, a lot of times what happens to do is the trailer will swing one direction, either left or right. It's going to swing on you because it's not ready to stop like that. All right. So as he jams on his brakes, I had to tell you that my plan, which originally was going to work, most assuredly, it was not going to work anymore, because now his bed, you know what I'm saying, the back of his 18-wheeler was now swinging at me and at my direction. And I saw this. Within the span of 2 seconds, I was seeing this. The bed of an 18-wheeler swinging directly at me like I'm in Jurassic Park or Final Destination or some shit. The bed of the 18-wheeler is swinging at me. Right, and it is going to hit me for sure. Whether or not it clobbers me and just totally obliterates me and kills me, or whether or not it hits the back of the car and just totally annihilates the car, this 18-wheeler's whole carriage is swinging directly at my direction. All right, and I see this. And I thought, he fucked up my plan. Fucked up my plan. I guess I'll veer more. And I was able to barely veer more. Meanwhile, this whole time, I'm not able to stop. I'm going too fast. I barely veer more. Basically, I veered completely off the road into the grass, like the median. I wound up veering completely off the road. He wound up missing me by no exaggeration about a foot or 2 feet. All right. And so that's exactly what and you know what? It's like, I was like, he just barely missed me by a foot or 2 feet. And I saw all this happen within a span of 2 seconds. And I'm over here in the grass and the dirt. And I look back at my review and I look at him and he just jammed on his brakes. Like he really just broke himself off. So I look back at my rear view and he stopped. Like down the road, he had stopped. And I was like, oh shit, okay, all right. So he didn't totally mess up his world either. And I was like, I wonder if he's just going to take off. And then he started taking off and I was like, okay, cool. I got to go back to work. And so I just took off. All right. And that's where the story ended. Right? I was smelling all sort of burnt rubber and shit. I mean, 18-wheeler carriage just swinging at my direction. I just barely missed it. I was watching it all in slow motion. I was thinking about it, but yet and still I wasn't thinking about anything. And I was like calm as a cucumber for no apparent reason during the whole thing. And what I want to explain is the most interesting thing about the story is a few minutes later, I was thinking to myself of how I was just looking at certain death. Like, everybody would be like, oh man, he's gone. Yeah, he's gone. Or not only that, I could have annihilated the car and that would have totally ruined a lot of people's worlds, to include mine. All right. Not only did that almost just happen, but what's so weird about it is I thought about it a few minutes later and I was like, man, you know how people say your life flashes in front of your eyes? Nothing happened. Like nothing. All right, and you take it for what it's worth. A lot of people would take that as a negative thing, maybe, or some people might take it as a positive thing. I kind of took it as a positive thing, is how I'm thinking about it. But I literally thought about it. There was no flash of life before my eyes. I didn't experience that at all. And I've experienced that before. You know, a lot of people have and stuff. I've experienced it before. Not in this occasion at all. It just didn't happen. It's like, all right, I guess keep living. That's basically what my attitude was, and I couldn't even help it. And I thought that was real interesting because a lot of people, you know, obviously in retelling this story would, you know, they'd be like, oh man, my whole life flashed before my eyes and all this sort of stuff I was thinking about. I didn't think about anything like that. I just experienced it in slow motion and thought about it in slow motion for about 2 seconds and really almost died. And that's cool. I don't know. Thing is, I don't know what to chalk that up to. And it's up to y'all's analysis out there, whatever you think that is. But I feel like maybe it's just that I'm so content. Because I really do feel very content in what I'm doing. I don't question what I'm doing ever, really. I just let God lead me, and I know that sounds whimsical, but I've been letting him do it for a long time. All right, and for some reason I almost just died, and it really didn't bother me so much at all. But I'm glad that I lived, and I'm glad I didn't totally mess up this car. And I'm glad I totally didn't mess up that 18-wheeler and his day and everything like that. I'm glad that all that stuff didn't happen. But at the same time, you know, I guess it wouldn't bother me all that much, to be honest with you. Stuff, and that's, I don't know if you think that might be a good thing or a bad thing. The thing is, what I gotta say is, man, the highway, that's the most dangerous place you'll ever be in your life. Don't you ever forget it. The thing is, gosh, there's really no reason to speed like I was speeding. And I need to remind myself. And I think everybody out there needs to remind themselves, there ain't no reason to be speeding. It's kind of dangerous. Alright, anyways. We're balls deep up in the tribulation, y'all. I'll holler at you. It's January the 23rd, 2018.